This episode of Spectre Sound Studios is brought to you by Sweetwater. Hey everybody, how's it going? So I was talking with my friends over at Sweetwater. We decided we're going to partner up on a new series over the next few weeks. We'll see how it goes. And it's all about great studio gear for not a lot of money, which you can conveniently order from Sweetwater. And for the first episode, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this. This is the new interface from Black Lion Audio. Now, Black Lion creates their own mic preamps. They create compressors. They do their own 500 series racks. I've got one over here and it's absolutely amazing. I love the fact it's got a patch bay right in front. It's one of my absolute favorite pieces of 500 series gear. But they also do mods for converters. You can send your converters to them, get them bumped up, get a better analog signal path put in, and upgrade your sound. So when I heard that they were going to do their own interface, I got really excited about this because I've heard a lot of great things about Black Lion's stuff. I thought, hey, let's check one of these out and see how good it really is. Now, if you've watched my show for any amount of time, you've heard me go on and on and on about how everybody uses the same chips in their converters, and that's absolutely true. Of course, you know, the snooty response has always been, oh, but it's all about the analog signal path around it. Okay, well, here's a piece of gear with a bumped up analog signal path around the converters. I'm really excited to try this out. So let's unbox it. Let's throw it up on the desk and see what it can do. Now, as I learned on the Rev Mark 3 demo, always cut away from yourself, kids. Let's see what we get. Ooh, bubble wrap. All right, let's see what we get here. Oh, Sweetwater sent me a shirt too. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Very cool indeed. Let's see what's in the box here. That's actually, you know, got some weight to it. That's pretty cool. Those and moment of truth. Let's see what we get. I gotta say, yeah, this has got a little bit of heft to it. So most of the interfaces I've used are pretty lightweight, but not this guy. This is pretty heavy, actually. Now, just lifting the box here, this might be the heaviest 2-channel interface I think I've ever laid my hands on. Let's see what we get here. Ooh, look at that. That's freaking cool. Yeah, wow, this is really cool. This is solid metal. That's really something. So on the front, we get combo jacks for XLR and 1/4 inch. So it's got a couple instrument outputs as well as the mic preamps. Nice solid volume knob, a couple of headphone jacks. And on the bottom, we've got 1/4 inch outputs and SPDIF outputs and USB as well, USB-C. Now, I did a 5-interface shootout a while back. I'll have a link up here if you want to check that out. They're all under like $200. This one's a little bit more expensive, but the quality's supposed to be better. Apparently, they've got really high-end capacitors in here, and they're decoupled converters. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but let's plug it in and see what we get. Before we switch over there, hey, look at this. They sent us a couple of USB-C cables, which is great. Braided, no less. That is freaking awesome. That's a nice extra touch. I like that quite a bit. All right, let's throw it up on the desk, see what happens. Okay, so we move it over to the desk, and I've set up the SM7B on the Revolution 2x2 here just to check out what the preamps can do, because the best torture test I can think of a mic preamp is throwing it up an SM7B, because you need a crap ton of gain for it to work well. Like, we've cranked this down, and obviously we're not getting much here. And we start bringing this up ever so slightly, start bringing some gain up. That's about the halfway point. Just starting to get a little bit of a light there, a green light. Can we see that on that? Green light, yep, okay. And let's start cranking this up a little bit more, not getting much of any gain here. That's about the 3 o'clock position. That's looking at least a little bit reasonable. And we're gonna crank that up a little more and a little more. And if we crank this all the way, yes, it's gonna go through the roof, and that's really ugly to listen to. But if we pull that back down, give it a little bit more headroom, get us to about -8 dBs. And that looks pretty comfortable right there. Gives us a nice amount of dynamic range and hopefully not any noise. Let's take a listen. On Reaper here, I'm not seeing anything registering on the meters. This is just like dead silent. Okay, that's pretty freaking cool, actually. So SM7B, yeah, I think it's going to pass the test. Let's throw a little compression into the mix and listen for noise again. Hey, you know what? That's not half bad at all. This is a pretty decent pre. There's still some room left, a little more gain to go if you need something super, super loud, but seems to work all right with an SM7. Doesn't seem to be giving me any issues whatsoever. Next up, let's plug a direct guitar in and run an amp sim and check for latency and see what we get. Okay, so we're back on the main shot, and I've got the Revolution hooked up to the overhead mic here, and I'm just using it as a preamp, no compression, no anything. Lots of room left on the gain here, but I've also got the amp set up for guitar here. Just checking for headroom and latency. Doesn't seem to be any issues whatsoever. This is down all the way, but it seems like we've got plenty of room left before it goes into the reds. Like, how far can I take this up before it starts crapping out? Just starting to kiss the reds a little bit there at about 10 o'clock. That's getting a little ugly there, that's for sure. So we're going to want to keep it down, leave a little bit of headroom, but yeah. Now, hot pickups used to be the Achilles heel of small two-channel interfaces like this, especially bus-powered ones. They just didn't have enough headroom. The guitar's DI signal would get squared off, and it just wasn't too much fun to play amp sims through, but this seems to be no issues whatsoever. And the pickups on this Ormsby are pretty freaking hot, and doesn't seem to be giving me any trouble whatsoever. Now, I was originally going to set this up for a reamp, and then I realized it's only got 2 outputs, and it would be really cool if I could set things up discreetly, so I could, say, monitor through the headphone outputs and then send an output to a reamp box, but it doesn't seem to do that. It's only got 2 outputs, so what you're hearing through the mains is what you're going to hear through the headphones, unless you're doing direct monitoring like so. So you can monitor the input and then monitor the output like that. But unfortunately, it's not discrete, meaning it's not going to give me 2 separate outputs. So I'm going to have to skip the reamp stage because I could do it in mono, I suppose, but it just wouldn't be nearly as accurate. So far, though, I'm really liking it. That seems to be my only gripe, is it's only got 2 outputs. It would have been really cool if we could get separate outputs going out of the headphone out and then the mains. I would really like to see that in maybe a future update. I don't even know if that's possible. And also some kind of software loopback system, I think would be really great. On the Mac, there doesn't seem to be any kind of control software. You just plug it in and it works. So you've got to do all your routing through your DAW. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying be aware of that. But if you've got something like Reaper that does great live monitoring, it shouldn't be an issue. I'm running Reaper at 32 samples of latency and no issues whatsoever. I am going to try throwing it on my laptop just to see what happens. We'll cut to that in just a minute. Okay, just switched over here for a sec. Just wanted to show you guys, I've got my Slick Audio PC up and running, and I'm running the Revolution into it. And got to say, the driver install was a snap. It's dead simple. There's really nothing to say other than, hey, it works great. And that's how PC driver installs should be. Painless. So for all you guys who are running Windows, yeah, this will work just fine. Hey everybody, just gonna break in here for a sec. So I talked with my friends over at Sweetwater, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna give this away to one very lucky viewer. I was just looking around the place and it's like I'm kind of tripping over amps and compressors and all kinds of awesome stuff, and I really don't have space for this. I tell you, it's awesome. I'd love to keep it, but you know what? It's probably gonna do one of you guys out there way more good than it's going to do for me just sitting on a shelf. So follow the link in the description below and get on the raffle for this, and somebody out there in this great big world of ours is going to have a very, very good day when this comes in the mail. Just to be absolutely clear, I'm opening this contest up to everybody worldwide, so sign up and you just might get lucky. Now back to the show. All right, so I've had the Revolution up here on the desk for the last couple days, and I gotta say, It's been great working with it, just doing my day-to-day stuff, because normally I don't need more than a couple of inputs and outputs. It's only when I get into the really big projects and I start to use a lot of outboard and reamping and all that kind of stuff that I need more than just a couple channels. That being said, I'd really like to see what Black Lion's got in store for a larger unit. I would love to see an 8-channel unit of one of these, or better yet, 16-channel unit. So I gotta say, the one thing I'm doing over and over again is I'm reaching for the volume knob on my RME when I should be reaching for this thing. It's like, oh yeah, right, I'm not plugged into the RME, it's the Black Lion. Okay, great, let me make an adjustment there. I think that goes a long way into saying what kind of quality this thing is delivering in terms of sound, where I find I'm not missing my main interface, which is priced for considerably a lot more money. Now, the big question I didn't see answered on the webpage is whether or not you're getting the components you would get if you, say, sent Black Lion your Apollo Twin or something like that to get that upgraded. Is this basically the upgrade in a box you can get for a lot less money? I'd like to know the answer to that question. If somebody knows, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. But bottom line, when it comes to 2-channel interfaces, I think this one's going to be kind of hard to beat in terms of quality, in terms of how much gain you have, noise, all that kind of stuff. It's really something else, I gotta say. The fact that you're gonna have to pay almost double the cost for something better says a great deal. It's not a $99 interface, that's for sure. It's going for like 400 bucks at Sweetwater. It's not the cheapest interface, but it's definitely not the most expensive either. I've worked with the RME stuff. I use my baby face on the road all the time. I worked with a lot of the Apollo stuff when I was down at the Hollywood studio. Great stuff, but I think both those brands have some serious competition coming their way, courtesy of Black Lion Audio. It's definitely worth having a look at. Follow the link in the description below. I'm out of here.